Morning. I'm home from work right now and I don't have to go to work until about noon today. So I want to read something that may or may not help somebody, but it helps me because I have this problem with resting and it keeps going in my head. This word. Okay? The word is today. Today is enough. That's what keeps going through my head. And so when I get into scripture and I want to find out what does that mean? What does God want me to know? He says, today is enough. My grace is sufficient for you. Today is enough. And I keep hearing that. And so it's like, sometimes I just can't rest. You know, when I think that I should, like, okay, today is Saturday or today is Friday or whatever, I should be resting. Okay, that's what my body says. But sometimes it's hard to just rest. So I want to read this. It's in Hebrews. The book of Hebrews is amazing. So it's Hebrews 3:12. It says, "Take care, brothers, that there not be in any one of you an evil, unbelieving heart that falls away from the living God. But encourage one another day after day, as long as it is called today, so that none of you will be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. For we have become partakers of Christ if we hold fast the beginning of our assurance from until the end. While it is said, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts, and when they provoked me. For who provoked him when they had heard? Indeed, did not all of those who came out of Egypt led by Moses?" Okay, I'm going to skip down to 4 because I want to stick with today. Okay, this is what he's saying about today. In Hebrews 4:7, he says again, God, okay, this is what I wanted to say. God is the one who chose the day of rest, not us. We don't choose the day that we rest. Okay, God chose the day for us to rest. And it's called today. So, listen, it says he again fixes a certain day, today, saying through David after so long a time, just as has been said before, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. For if Joshua had given them rest, see, again, that if someone else gives you rest, if Joshua had given them rest, he would not have spoken of another day after that. So there remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God, which is spirit. That's what I believe. I believe that he's given us his spirit so that we can rest. For the one who has entered his rest has himself also rested from his works, as God did from his works. See, that's what we're supposed to understand, okay? There are things that God does, and there are things that we do. And so we try to make everything right for ourselves. But God actually is the one who made everything already. Okay? Including today. Okay? Today is the day the Lord has made. Okay? So if, you're trying to set a day aside to say, okay, on Wednesday, I'm going to rest. or Saturday or Sunday or Monday, whatever. If that day something happens and you can't rest, guess what? There's still another day that's called today. All right? In that day, it says, if you hear his voice, do not harden your heart. Okay, so it just goes on. It's like, it's not ever too late. Okay, God says, my grace is sufficient for you, and today is the day the Lord has made. So, I try to, rest when I can. All right, that's the rest that God has given us. He says, when you hear my voice, or the day that you, the day that you hear my voice. So, back like when Cameron was smaller, she asked me, this was a long time ago, it's so powerful. She asked me, I think that, I don't know, we have been to a couple funerals, and anyway, she was like, why, Mommy, why do people wait until they're about to die to ask about God? And I was like, wow, that's pretty true for, what we commonly encounter is people wait until they're either deathly sick, wait till they're, I don't know, it just seems like we wait till we're at our worst and then we ask questions about God. But really, God is with us all the time. And what I found, even reading just in the history, that what happens is people who recognize and acknowledge that God is with them. It's not a religious thing. It's not religious behavior. It's not saying, okay, well, I do this and this and this. It's, I know that God is with me. Those are the most humble people that I've met. Okay, they aren't trying to prove anything. And the ones who know that God is with them, they're not going to be waiting at the end. They're not going to be waiting and saying, is God real? The benefit is being humble while we're here, while the living God is with us. It says, do not fall away from the living God. It says, do not. It says, take care that there not be in any of you. Let not be in an evil heart, an unbelieving heart that falls away from the living God. Okay, that's sometimes when you read that, it can be like feeling like you're evil or whatever. You're not. It's just like anything that doesn't go, with God, basically, is the flesh. Okay, our flesh doesn't go back to heaven. It goes away from God. So our flesh is kind of like, eh. But as I was saying, we don't get any benefit from this life by not being humble, by being restless, by being struggling and trying to do everything. Okay, we can't do everything. And sometimes we have a hard time resting. But if we can just learn that whenever you can rest, okay, if it's today, then you can rest. There's no schedule better than God's. Okay, God's timing is perfect. And so man is the one who sets aside the days. The one that says, okay, well, this day we're not going to do this and this and that. We're not going to, just like when Jesus was healing on the Sabbath. They didn't like that. Okay, but the living God wasn't worried about man's day of rest. He was doing his work. Okay, and so it says we can rest just like God did. From all of our work, there's a day that we can rest. And it's today. So isn't that cool? It doesn't really fall on the calendar. It's just today. So, that's what I'm doing, and I'm trying to learn that not to get so hard down on myself when I'm trying to keep my schedule and say, okay, well, I have to do this on this day, and I really have to relax on this day, or whatever. It's like I may be at work and may be resting. Okay. Like right now, this is rest to me because I haven't got to sit and read this out loud for a while. And so I just thought I would share it because today is enough. I mean, that's what he's been saying to me for 3 days now. And I've been exhausted from driving, and the wind has been very, very hard on the trucks out there, in the cars, But yeah, I'm resting today. Even though I have to be at my job, around noon, but I'm resting because I know that His grace is sufficient, and I want to stay in that. I don't want to harden my heart. I don't want to, I don't want to have bitterness in my soul and all that. So I just wanted to share that because when it comes up and up and up with me over and over like that, I tend to start wanting to talk about it. So anyway, I know that not all these videos are like for everybody, but there are some deep thinkers out there that need this kind of rest. So you guys, whatever you do this weekend, have a good weekend, be safe, and be loved. Bye-bye.